So I think,
Right.
the biggest mistake founders make when valuing their business is they don't think about how the buyer is going to value the business and how can they articulate, a rational valuation to the buyer. Like, how did you get to that 5x number? How did you get to that 10x number? And if it's just like, oh, well, I saw Bloom was acquired for 10x or something like that, that is the
Right.
worst way to value your business, because, well, Loom was doing hundreds of millions of dollars and it was growing, really fast year over year, and they sold to a strategic buyer. Your business is subscale, not growing, so there's so many different like variables like that, but using, outsized outlier returns to justify a valuation is a great way to just kind of show buyers you're not serious. And also putting your buyer hat on again is, most buyers are looking at hundreds of businesses per day. So if you're priced even just a little outside of reality, you're missing out on a ton of different buyer potential interest.
Right.
You want to bring as many buyers to the table as possible. So sometimes that could mean pricing your startup initially lower than what you might think. But like that number that's in most founders' head at like 10x, that ain't real, So
that is never real. So that will never happen.
No, I used to think 10x was, just take revenue and multiply it by 10. So that's super simple. But what you want to do, there's a saying, if you have one buyer, you have no buyers, because you have no leverage. So if you're just waiting for a buyer to come acquire you, that rarely works and is a dumb strategy, in my opinion, because they'll just sit and watch. And, so bring a bunch of buyers to the table and then have a realistic valuation where, it gets them interested. It fits within kind of their, how they would value to startups that are like yours. And these are all things that we help with at acquire.com. And then what you're able to do is, if you get multiple offers, you run a good acquisition process. That's when you can bump up to higher multiples, because you have leverage. You're able to say, hey, buyer who came in at 3x, like you can get to, 4.5x, we have a deal. And you can kind of like, that's how you run a competitive process, is you need to have leverage. And then you also need to have multiple buyers to have that leverage to push the price up.